Alright, I've put this off long enough. Before we get knee-deep into Commander 2016 craziness, which starts tomorrow again, by the way, we have to talk about something. We have to talk about Pauper. Specifically, we have to talk about Izzet Drake, the strategy that is dominating the Pauper format, accounting for around 30% of the entire meta. I've put off talking about this deck for months because I was positive that it was going to get banned out last month. I was wrong. Izzet Drake is the best deck in Pauper. I honestly think it's slowly killing the format, and we need to deck tech the crap out of it so you can see what's going on. Since this is Pauper and most cards are pennies, we'll be showing you the prices of everything we talk about on tcgplayer.com. If you want to buy the actual best deck in Pauper right now, you can get the entire thing for around $30, and that's even a bit high. Click the first link in the description for the deck list and cheapest way to get cards. Alright, time to introduce you to this monster. Izzet Drake is primarily a blue-red control deck with a strong combo element attached. The entire reason this deck exists is because of this beast. Peregrine Drake being printed at the common rarity in Eternal Masters threw Pauper players for a loop. Cloud of Fairies hadn't been banned all that long, then something bigger takes its spot. Blood was in the water from minute one. Peregrine Drake is an absurd magic card for a common, essentially giving you a free 2/3 and the potential for absolutely broken synergies, which we'll talk about in a moment. This entire deck revolves around the power of Peregrine Drake. The deck needs the Drake to survive. To be more clear, if Peregrine Drake were to be banned, the competitiveness of this particular shell would plummet faster than Hasbro stock after Kamigawa came out. Wham! Burn! Right, we're getting sidetracked. Let's explore what the deck actually does. The next card we want to focus on is Ghostly Flicker. Where Peregrine Drake goes, the Flicker is sure to follow. Being able to blink the Drake means getting a ton of free mana. Think about it. Let's say you spend 5 mana and cast the Drake. You get to untap all those lands, then you play Ghostly Flicker, tap 3 lands to cast the Flicker, target the Drake in a tapped land with the Flicker's ability, tap the rest of your lands to float mana, Drake exiles, comes back, boom, all your lands are untapped again, and you have a bunch of floating mana. Doing that once will leave you with 8 mana when it's all said and done, but why not dream bigger? That's what this deck is all about, dreaming bigger. You're gonna love this. Or hate it, I'm really not sure, honestly. The deck runs Archaeomancer, Muldrifter, and Seagate Oracle. These are the rest of the creatures and the most beautiful Ghostly Flicker targets imaginable. We're about to jump down the rabbit hole in a big way. Welcome to the Izzet Drake combo machine. Now remember, we just went over how the interaction between the Peregrine Drake and the Ghostly Flicker will net you a bunch of mana. Well, if you have an Archaeomancer on the battlefield and you cast Ghostly Flicker, oh baby, you cast a Flicker, target your Peregrine Drake and Archaeomancer, tap the rest of your mana because why not? They both flicker, Peregrine Drake comes back, untaps all your lands. Archaeomancer comes back, it triggers and grabs the Ghostly Flicker you just used out of the graveyard. Say hello to infinite mana. You can keep doing that. Flicker your Mancer and Drake away, get more mana, get the Flicker back. Do it forever if you want to. Infinite mana. So, what do we do with infinite mana? Once you have infinite mana, you can start casting and flickering your Muldrifters and Seagate Oracles. You draw more cards, cast more spells, draw more cards, cast more spells. You have all the mana in the world. Just make sure you always use one target of the Flicker on the Archaeomancer to make sure it keeps coming back and you're good to go. You can play out your entire deck if you want to. Of course, once you have the ability to cycle through your entire deck, you'll notice Compulsive Research is in there. Say hello to another win condition. Let me explain. We're running multiple Archaeomancers, so once you have your infinite mana and the ability to see however many cards you want, you can have multiple Archaeomancers on the battlefield. Cast Compulsive Research targeting your opponent. That's right, your opponent. Then use Ghostly Flicker, target 2 Archaeomancers, bring back the Flicker and the Compulsive Research, do it all again. It'll take a little bit if they don't automatically concede, but you can mill them out right there by casting Compulsive Research, targeting them 1,000,000 times. Don't feel like milling your opponent out? How about Lightning Bolt? The card fits the exact same role as Compulsive Research. You can keep bringing it back forever, just bolting your opponent's face until it melts off. There's no way that won't feel good. Anyways, let's recap a bit. We could win by simply flooding the board with a ton of flying creatures from our copious amounts of mana. We can also set up an infinite mana and spell recursion combo to either deck them with compulsive research or burn them to death with lightning bolt. As you can see, Izzet Drake is all about being classy. The rest of the deck is a relatively simple blue-red control shell. We're running 4 Counterspell and 3 Dispel. While Izzet Drake is a popular and powerful deck, it still needs to resolve spells to win. Plus, you're going to find yourself in the mirror match so often you might just quit the format. Counterspell and more specifically Dispel are going to help deal with Disruption, which is your primary lose condition. Tapping out for Peregrine Drake is something that you do more often than not. In a deck like that, you're going to want to have some kind of insurance ready if you know there's a counter war afoot. The last 8 cards in the deck are playsets of Preordain and Flame Slash. Pretty simple inclusions here. Preordain is great with our infinite mana combo. Lets us scry a ton and draw what we need to really get our combo going. Even without the combo, we're talking about one of the best draw spells available at the common level. Never underestimate the value of card filtering. Flame Slash is disturbingly important. This stupid little burn spell wrecks pretty much everything in the format for the first few turns. Of course there are exceptions, but 4 toughness is definitely a milestone number in this format. Flame Slash, coupled with Lightning Bolt and Seagate Oracle, are designed to help us survive the early game, where we are very clearly vulnerable. Moving on to the mana base, we're running 22 lands. 4 Izzet Boilerworks and 4 Swiftwater Cliffs are key in the deck. Thanks to Ghostly Flicker giving the option to exile a land if you have your combo going, you can gain infinite life by flickering the cliffs over and over again. That's very cool. The Boilerworks, on the other hand, synergize really well with our one of Forgotten Cave and Lonely Sandbar. We need the mana early, we play them. Don't need them late, Boilerworks returns them and we get more card draw. It's hard to say no to that. After that, we have 1 Izzet Guildgate for more color reliability, 6 islands, and 5 mountains. 22 lands in total, the agreed upon amount of lands for this strategy. Want to talk about a land base that's been tried and tested? This is one of those land bases. Let's take stock of where we're at. Izzet Drake, while having a lot of flashy cool combo awesomeness, is still a control deck. We have cards like Preordain, Seagate Oracle, and even evoking Mauldrifter to help dig through our deck looking for what we need. Flame Slash, Lightning Bolt, and the aforementioned Oracle are all top-notch at getting us past the early game, which is really our main weakness. Once we make it to the mid-game, we're looking to keep the board clear while landing some Peregrine Drake, full-costed Mauldrifters, Archaeomancers, bringing back removal spells or counters, basically anything to keep up the tempo in the game. The longer it goes, the better chance we have of assembling our combo. Once that happens, it's off to the races. In a way, this is like an attrition-style deck. You exhaust your opponent's resources with counterspells, removal, and recursion for your removal. Again, this is not a pure combo deck. It's a control deck with a really good combo in it. You are the control player almost every time. Just remember that. I will say, if you've been following the Pauper meta up to this point, then you know a lot of players are starting to main deck Pyroblast. That's how bad things are getting, and honestly, I can't really advise against it. If you want to play this deck, you have to be ready for the mirror match, so obviously sideboard playsets of Pyro and Hydroblast. But really consider main decking a few Pyroblast, especially if you know your local area is blue heavy in Pauper. You can be a boss like that. I wanted to show you all this deck in case you lived under a rock and hadn't heard about it yet. Everyone was positive that the Drake was going to get banned last month, but it didn't. We're talking about a card that's terrorizing Pauper right now. Just from this deck tech alone, can you get a hint of how oppressive and powerful the strategy is? Is this the kind of deck that you'd play? Is it too strong? Not enough of a challenge? I need to know how you feel about it. Please let me know what you think of Pauper right now, and if you think the Drake needs to be banned. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, if this is a deck that you're interested in building, you can build it for around $30 on TCG Player right now. Be sure to click the first link in the description for the deck list and the best prices. Hope you enjoyed the tech, and Commander 2016 goodness is about to hit you in the face. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.